Hey guys, this is Cam for 15, joined by my uncle Daryl, and we are back with another episode review of Moon Knight, which is the second to last episode review. I don't know how quickly we'll get up episode 6, but as of right now, as this is probably gonna go up like Tuesday night, which if you stay up super late in the United States till like midnight, thank goodness it's like Pacific time for me, you can see the new episode of Moon Knight. But this episode was crazy. We get the backstory to Mark and everything, understanding how he developed his whole different personalities and everything of the personality of Steve.
Yes.
Now they reference the Jake Lockley persona, I think in like one way, because there was a part in the episode he started talking with a different accent, like a New Yorkish type of accent. I was wondering if that was the Jake Lockley persona. But they still have yet to reveal that. They'll probably reveal it later, either Wednesday night, which is early in the morning for my uncles. It's like pretty much in the afternoon for him. So
Wow. Midnight for you is what, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. for me?
uh-huh.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The overseas, it just sometimes it just gets really confusing, especially when you chime in with daylight savings and things of that nature.
Anyways, let's get to it because Zoom has a whole different timer thing going on. But anyways, we start the episode off where we last left off last week with the whole hippopotamus talking creature where Mark and Steven were all scared. We find out that I forgot what it's called, but it is a god, and I think it's actually like a legit Egyptian god.
Yeah.
And everything. And essentially the whole thing she's running down is the fact that you're like, yeah, you're in the afterlife essentially. So you need to find out like how to balance the scales out. Otherwise, you're gonna go down below to hell, essentially, their version of hell.
Right.
Or what they call the sands, and they just waste away to dust. So this is when we go through the episode, just seeing the backstory of Mark and how he became the person he is today. So
Correct.
we cut to his child life because they're going through all the different doors, and we kind of see just like past experience. Like we see the first episode reenactment of when he first became Moon Knight in the first episode of this season, and other stuff. Then Steven sees this one interesting thing, and Mark doesn't want him to see this. He goes in and we get a flashback, or they're witnessing it. And he had a family, Mark had a family. He had a dad, a mom, and I think it was a younger brother. I don't remember if it was a younger brother.
It was a brother for sure. Yeah, brother for sure. It was a younger brother.
Okay. It seemed like him and his brother were very close. They followed the one TV show that I think we didn't mention in episode 4, because after Mark died, they showed like the Stephen Grant TV show, I guess they watched when they were kids and everything. So they like to do like the kids like to do when they watch a TV show, reenact in their own, vision and everything. And we get to where they run off.
You should see some of the things that me and your father reenacted. We reenacted Starsky and Hutch. Our favorite was Sanford and Son.
So going on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good. So going on. Now their mom, what happens is said, okay, don't get too far, and if something happens, make sure you come back. So
that's correct.
Mark or Steven goes to following them on, and Mark's like, come on, let's go, let's get out of here. You don't need to see this and everything. But Steven's not listening to him. He's seeing what's going on, and everything. And mind you, of how this whole flashback into the child life leads into this. They go into a room where we see Mark killed all the people when he was a mercenary, and Mark actually remembers all these people. And then we saw this little kid just running. That's what leads into the childlike backstory, which goes to show you that in that same room, Mark killed a freaking lot of people when he was a mercenary. So what happens is they're running and it's raining and everything. They go into this cave. Now this cave is very dark and everything. I'm like, don't tell me some animal's gonna come in and snatch them out and we're gonna get like brutal or something like this. But no, they get into the cave, but because it's raining so hard, the cave actually starts to flood.
Mm-hmm.
And the more they went deeper, 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 you just see it where it's all flooding. We later find out because eventually Mark, opens another door. It gets to, like, I guess you could say, a potential funeral like scene. And we find out that Mark's younger brother, he died due to drowning in that cave. Now, I don't think they specified
Correct.
how Mark got out of there.
No,
But
they didn't, but they did actually say that he drowned. Now,
yeah.
What was the circumstances surrounding the drowning? Maybe they'll go into it with the season finale, but for sure, the brother, brother, or it never really clarified if they were brothers or not, did they?
Yeah, they clarified they were
I
brothers.
thought they did clarify they were brothers. Okay, well, the younger brother, definitely died due to drowning, and yeah, that didn't sit well with the mother, because the mother, for the most part, blamed Mark.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
he just
yeah, it was honestly kind of messed up. And that's kind of like the tragic part about Mark's backstory, of the just
yeah
standpoint that after his brother died, his mother essentially became a lunatic, and just a
yeah
crazy abusive parent,
right.
because
She blamed him, and she tortured him at every turn she could, because he was, for all intents and purposes, the source of her pain.
yeah,
So um that was I was honestly, for me, that was pretty deep. you know um and the spanking,
oh
that
yeah,
was yeah, that was also pretty deep. So, but Mark, for the most part, didn't seem to forgive himself for whatever happened. Now, they really didn't clarify and go into what happened behind the younger brother's death or anything like that, but hopefully they go into it with the sixth episode.
yeah. Now, when he's going through all this, I guess, very stressful, thing of being abused by his mom and
Yep.
everything, that's when he created his different persona, the Stephen Grant persona,
Correct.
and everything. And then, some time passes, he's kind of like a teenager. He's kind of just sick and done with everything that's going on. He
Mm-hmm.
ends up leaving. Now his dad doesn't want him to leave. But what happens, he's like, no, I got to get out of here. I can't stand this place anymore. He leaves and he goes to live out on his own. But then we later
Yep.
get a cut back to where he goes back. We find out the mom actually died, and in a
Yep.
way he felt responsible for that, for everything that happened. And that's kind of been the thing that's been weighing down on his mind, and that's why he's kind of held that type of himself away, or locked that away.
Mhm.
And it's kind of just the whole thing of what Steven was telling him, like, you have to accept what happened in your past and everything,
Correct.
and move
And then on
on.
top of that, they went through all of this because in the end, Mark and Steven had to do what the character Tenement, I think that was the hippo's name, Tenement. And Tenement was basically telling them, you got to balance these scales. The only way you're going to be allowed to pass where we're going, to get further, is you get, for the most part, they had to, just come clear with what actually happened between the two of them. They had to balance the scales. They had to basically, do get along for the sake of the mission. So
Yeah,
there was a lot of things that was seen, a lot of things that were said. Mark really didn't want to let Steven in on anything. He kept hiding. He kept hiding. He kept trying to cover up the history between the two, and how Steven became to be, how Steven became to be. So Mark continually tried to, to hold that from even Layla. He kept trying to hold, from Layla, because, they're the same. They're one and the same. And I think they really had to realize it for themselves.
yeah. And then speaking of that, we actually do get the scene when he was the mercenary and the whole thing that happened with Layla's dad and everything, when they
Yeah.
got attacked. And you see it to where he was literally legitimately like crawling all the way to what is Khonshu's like tomb area. His
Correct.
I guess you can say like his whole how would you like, I don't know how you call it, his whole like, I guess his sacred area. And he's
No,
yeah,
that's what. Yeah, just a tomb.
yeah. So he's literally just like literally about to die. He's all bloodied up and everything. He looks like he
Mhm.
got shot up pretty bad. But then that's when he starts to hear a voice, and it's Khonshu start talking to him. And essentially that's Khonshu's like, become my freaking, person that will serve out justice how I see fit and everything.
Correct.
Become my Moon Knight.
Correct.
And as you see, you get a pretty cool scene as
Correct.
when Mark accepts it, his eyes start to light up, and then the Moon Knight costume comes around him and everything.
That was pretty cold how they did that too. I got to admit, I like that. And again, it goes back to the backstory of how Khonshu and Mark, finally came together to go on this mission to, punish evildoers, so to speak. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. When them eyes lit up, how Disney did it, it was actually, that was cold blooded. I like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's kind of where we get a full understanding of the backstory. We get flushed back.
Mhm.
Hippo lady calls them back again. It's kind of already too late, because they're approaching the gate, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get back to the real world,
Correct.
to stop Harrow. But they had to balance the scales. Now, what I thought originally is like, oh, they probably have to find Jake Lockley to do that.
Correct.
Now, kind of a quick
And I was thinking they had to just get along. They all had to be on one page. That's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
And I think that's what they were thinking. You have to balance the scales. So, it was, we really found out we were both wrong,
Yeah.
but that's why we watch. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And to actually speak on the Jake Lockley persona, or what we think it might be, I think at like the start of the episode, Mark wasn't believing what the hippo was saying, and he was just like going crazy and everything. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we see him just confronting against the Harrow psychiatrist guy. But the only
Correct.
difference is he's got like a band-aid over his nose and everything, and he's
Correct.
and when I watched it, from what I remember, his voice sounded slightly different compared to Mark and Steven. And I'm like, what the heck? And that kind of goes away. And next thing you know, it's just Mark and Steven. So that's probably
Correct.
another hint. That's the Jake Lockley persona. If they make it appear in the 6th episode, we'll see. If not, then I'm
It's
guessing
going to be interesting how they slide that in, though. It's
yeah.
going to be interesting how they slide that in because, and it'll become clear as we, move on and continue with the rest of the show as far as what happened. So what happened to actually balance the scales? So, but it still was pretty cool. And I really don't like Harold, man. And I really can't stand him, whether he's a psychiatrist, doctor, fisherman. I don't care. I don't like Harold, man. Harold, man, I can't stand him. I'm sorry.
So anyways, cutting back, they go outside again. They're seeing everything going crazy. But the difference is, because what we're guessing is what Ahmed has finally been revived. The hippo saying like all these souls are freaking coming down and they're being unfairly judged and everything. It kind of reminds me of the time, I know I'm speaking off, it kind of reminds me of the time when I watched Dragon Ball Z in the Majin Buu saga, when Majin Buu was killing all those people. When you cut back to when Goku went back to the afterlife after spending some time in the human world, you just saw a bunch of different spirits just lined up waiting to be judged. And everything. So if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you get that reference, but it's kind of that whole thing. They're just being unfairly judged, and it's like they're just dropping like flies essentially. And we know that's Ahmed alongside Harrow just doing all that stuff. And essentially it's kind of already too late to, do what they need to do in balancing the scales. It's not balanced out still. And all of a sudden you just have these like incarnations of, I'm guessing, people that Mark killed. They're just coming out of the sand and everything. And they're just essentially doing what, is kind of like, I guess you can say, again, religionary statement of the whole thing of just like, you know, demons bring you down to hell with you and stuff
Right.
like that, and you just stay in constant burning hell and everything. So the thing is, Mark tries to fight them all off, but it looks like he's going to be taken. But Steven then just takes the approach after it really truly accepting, you know, everything that's happened, and he starts fighting
He
back.
starts protecting Mark. He starts
Mhm.
protecting Mark
Yeah.
because I don't really know. I think this is at the moment when I think Steven really just becomes, you know, hey, you know, me and Mark are in this thing together. I think that's when he gets that realization that, you know what, yeah, we really need to take care of business at this particular moment. We need to stop fighting. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and protect him because I see you're in danger.
Yeah.
So they continue to fight, continue to fight, continue to fight. But Steven was the one who gets knocked over. He gets knocked over. And right now, the boat that Tenement was riding, it continues to sail forward without Steven. Mark is looking down for Steven, tells Steven, come on, run. We need to go back and go get him and things of that nature. And then at that particular moment, correct me if I'm wrong, at that particular moment, that's when Tenement says, hey, the scales are balanced. So now I'm thinking at this particular moment, where the only way to balance the scales was there only should be one of you. There only should be one of you. So Mark was the person, and he pretty much, I don't know if he had to rid himself of Steven, but maybe it was one of them things whereas one had to sacrifice themselves for the other in order to balance the scales.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for me, that was pretty deep. So now I'm wondering, how is this going to play out moving forward with the last episode? Because you still got the Jake Hockley persona. Layla still got to fit up in here some way. You got Steven, which was left behind, and now Mark is on this ship heading towards the gates so that they can finish this battle with Harold, and I'm pretty sure Khonshu was going to make a visit, as well as the other gods who imprisoned Khonshu. So yeah, this is just really leading up to one big bang of an episode for the last one, and I gotta admit, I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, the episode ends off with, after that, what we presume that the Steven persona is dead now, because he at some point he's trying to run back, but he stops and he starts to dust away into the sand.
It looked like he turned to stone, but I think yeah, you're right, it was like more sand than stone.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens is you get this scene where Mark's just looking around and he looks like he's in what you would say the Egyptians, you know, version of heaven, which they do kind of specify. The fact that we now get an understanding that just like I guess you can say, well, there's no factual evidence to prove this, but there's obviously in different religions and different, you know, places around the continent or the planet, people have different, you know, takes of the afterlife and how it's like.
Right.
So this case, we get the MCU's like Egyptian way of the afterlife, which if you watch Black Panther, you know that whole realm when T'Challa talked to his father in that whole afterlife. That's the Wakanda's version of the afterlife. Yeah. Thor, Love, and Thunder. They're gonna have the Greek gods, like Zeus is gonna be in this film. So you know that's its whole thing.
They even did that with Zeus, and I think you know, Valhalla is Thor's version of the afterlife as well too. So yeah, the Marvel universe and all these different cultures throughout the Marvel universe, they all have their different little tweaks and versions of the afterlife. But this one was actually pretty cool too. So again, this is really turning out to be setting up for a fantastic ending. You know, I don't know if they're going to end it or cliffhang it. You know, that's the part that's just, you know, I'm eager to see, because so far only Loki they cliffhanged. And you know, but the others, they kind of finish the story. So we'll see. But I gotta admit, whatever they do, it's really set up for an amazing close.
Yeah. All we know is all we know is that Mark's girlfriend, she's went to go find Khonshu to bring him back to life. That's
Correct.
pretty much it.
Correct. And I know she's gonna have some issues finding Khonshu. We also got Mark, who's going to have some issues with losing Steven. And then you got the Jake Lockley. How is that going to come up in there? The hippo god, Tenement. How is she going to fit into all of this? And then you got Hera. You got that.
Yeah. If you want to finish your thought that you were saying, because you were glitching up.
But no, all I was just saying is that everything is just set up for an amazing close, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. I think that's what everybody's pretty much hoping, that we get a pretty good, conclusion, because obviously we mentioned this earlier throughout our reviews of this, is that the MCU, in terms of these Disney Plus shows, as of late hasn't ended their shows off in ways people felt like it was, I guess,
Correct.
Warranted. I disagree in some cases.
Show, yes. Yeah, they have. It hasn't been befitting of the actual character of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
I mean, Hawkeye made, but it just didn't. It didn't sizzle.
Yeah, I think it's just again, like we mentioned, I think it's because you're only having 6 episodes and you're trying to cram so much into 6 episodes. Maybe if you just give, more, these shows like like for example, what WandaVision did, start off with 9 episodes, you'll get a warranted payoff. Now, even with WandaVision, people didn't feel that show paid off, but that's going to be, I guess, solved in Multiverse of Madness. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. So this video is probably going to go up late after I get back from work. And the quickest we can get the season finale of Moon Knight, or whatever the last episode of Moon Knight is, then we'll definitely get it out there and put it up there. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode.
I can't wait, man. This show is gonna be bonkers.
Yes. We can't last week's episode, so give your thoughts on that, and then hit the subscribe button if you want to get more MCU content or whatever DC content, that whatever comes to the channel and stuff like that. And also, too, as a quick update, I am going to go see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness on Saturday.
I'm going to see it on Sunday.
Okay, yeah. So whenever we both check the movie, we'll be back to review the movie, give non-spoiler and then spoiler review in the same video. So other than that, we're going to get out of here. If you guys, like I said, when you do hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the notification bell icon so you're up to date with whatever I upload to the channel. And it goes straight to your inboxes. So anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day and you're staying safe out there. Till then, guys, peace.
Later.